for us on the effectiveness of masks against COVID-19.
Thank you. I don't know about COVID-19, but I'm going to do a demonstration as to how effective these masks are against marking chalk. So we know COVID-19 is much smaller than marking chalk, so we'll be able to see some results here. And I am a lead organizer at the Nebraska Patriots.
Yeah,
is that better?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me better?
There you go.
I didn't even know I wasn't getting through. Okay. I am a lead organizer at the Nebraska Patriots. We are a community support group. I am right now involved with organizing the Eastern Nebraska group. Apparently I'm still not talking loud enough. I apologize. We are a community support group. We're not a militia. We're not an armed response team.
No.
I'm 40 years old and out of shape. I would be the worst armed response team ever. So That's not what we are. We're a group of people that we're tired of sitting around talking about things that we might be doing and not doing anything.
Yep.
So we came together on Facebook in June and started organizing to do some community outreach things.
Bye. See you later.
And we have now, in 4 months, grown to be 3,000 on Facebook across the state of Nebraska. The only requirement is you have to live in the state of Nebraska and you want to do something good for your community. That's the only requirements. So it is a private group. If you guys are interested in maybe joining, we do things like go to cemeteries and clean headstones for veterans. We've done that out in Grand Island. It was a good experience. Nobody's doing things like that anymore, guys. And you know, those people gave up their lives for our freedoms. It's what we're talking about right now. They deserve our best. And I think the least we could do is get back out in the community and do things like that. We spent some time down at Madsen's in Lincoln when the mayor sent the police over there to close those guys down.
Yep.
Because we support liberty and freedom. We support small business owners, people that want to have a choice. We think people should have a choice. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask.
Yep.
If you choose to wear one, wear one. That's what choice is about.
Preach.
You know, it's not my job to tell somebody else what to do. It's my job to protect myself and my family. That's what I'm concerned with. I'm not concerned with what you're doing to protect your family. That's your concern. You should be paying attention to that. The doctor had some really good points there, and a couple of things that I've looked up that I found kind of interesting is so far in 2020, we are tracking to have less annual deaths this year than in 2019 and 2018. So if less people are dying, how does that work? Because I'm hearing hundreds of thousands of people are dying from coronavirus. So if that's the case, why aren't more people dying this year than died last year?
Yeah.
You know, those numbers don't support what you're being told. They just don't. I've done some research on the treatment for COVID-19, and I know several doctors that are maybe involved with some of that. I can't name any names. But there's a lot of doctors out there that have a lot of different ideas on what treats this thing, what makes it better, what's prevention, and everything else. And nobody really knows for sure what it is. But there's some pretty hard evidence that hydroxychloroquine does help. And if something helps and I'm sick, maybe I want the choice to take that. I think I have a choice to take that. If I go to the doctor and they find out I have cancer, I have a choice to not accept cancer treatment. I have a choice to take cancer treatment. That's my health. That's my medical choice. Why isn't it that way with the medicines I take? And if the government wants to shove a vaccine down my throat, I think I should have a choice whether I take that vaccine or not. If I'm afraid of coronavirus and I want to take a vaccine, I should be able to go and do it. If I don't want to, I should be able to not go and do it. You know, they have mandated vaccines for a long time. You have to take your vaccines before you go to junior high or high school or whatever it is. We mandate it into our kids.
Except you have exemptions.
What's that?
The religious and medical exemptions.
Except for religious and medical exemptions, as Allie just pointed out. However, this is something that we've just gone along with for a long time. And my son has been vaccinated, and he did not have any negative side effects from being vaccinated, and I'm thankful for that. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. I think you should have a choice. That's what we support as a Patriots group, is your freedoms and liberties and your ability to make a choice in how you live your life. So I appreciate everybody coming out here. I appreciate you guys putting this thing on, because I agree with the doctor over there. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only guy that cares about this. And I'm glad there's a lot of other people out here that care about this. I don't love masks. I don't like to wear masks. I wear masks for work a lot. I've been doing construction for 20 years. I wear masks for a lot of different reasons. I've worn masks because I've been exposed to ammonia, where you actually have to wear an oxygen-supplied respirator. I've worn dust masks. I've worn all kinds of masks. And there really aren't any mask experts in the U.S. OSHA is the closest thing that we have to anybody who would be a mask expert in this country. And the only reason that they're experts is because they've tested masks for effectiveness in contaminated areas for construction purposes and to protect employees in the workplace. I don't think anybody has ever really done a study to determine if masks really masks. Those came from Home Depot. We got cloth masks from Amazon. Am I causing a problem here, Ken? I got a triple layer cloth mask that allows you to put the additional filter on the inside. A lot of people are liking these. And I've got your N95 dust mask, which is the mask that I'm most familiar with because I wear this at work a lot. So we're going to test a couple of these and just kind of show you guys what they do. And you can make your own conclusions. I'm going to push pressure through this little styrofoam head here. I got 2 tubes, one by the nose, one by the mouth. I'm going to fill these tubes with some chalk. I'm going to shoot nitrogen through here, pressurize that, and I'm going to attempt to blow that chalk through these masks. I couldn't find a lot of data on how much pressure you build up when you cough or sneeze. So what I did find out is when you sneeze, the air is leaving your nasal passages at over 100 miles an hour. I don't know what that equates to in pressure, but 100 miles an hour seems like pretty fast to me. I don't go 100 miles an hour in my car. So I did take my gauge hoses and I coughed into them several times. This is very scientific the way I did this. So I coughed into them to see what it would read on the gauges, and that's what I'm basing this off of. When I coughed into my gauge hose, I got results anywhere from 35 psi to 18 psi. So I'm going to go with 20. I thought 20 was a good number. It's kind of on the low end. My guess is when you sneeze or cough, you're pushing through this mask with more than 20 pounds of pressure. Okay? I'm not a medical expert. I'm not a scientist. I'm a refrigeration and heating and air conditioning guy. And I know a little bit about air filtration because I changed some air filters. That's my expertise. So take it for what it's worth. Okay. That one first. First one we're going to do is the really cheesy fabric mask. This thing looks like somebody cut their flannel pajamas up and made a mask out of it. That's what this looks like.
There she is.
I found this money.
Nice.
Don't open this.
In a little bit. Sit down. Sit down.
Maybe I should do a play-by-play here. And he's getting it hooked up there and he's ready to go.
So we got our mask on our little guy here. I got some chalk in there. So You guys think this mask is going to catch anything? I've already tested this one, so I know what it does. I'll wait for her to get out of the way first. All right. Here it goes. 20 PSI. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, that was 20 PSI. This is purple marking chalk. This is not 0.00, however, what'd you say, 0.007 microns?
0.12.
0.12 microns? That's pretty damn small.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a lot smaller than this chalk.
Chalk's about 3
You can see
microns.
how much chalk came out of that mask.
Yeah.
So when you sneeze, you're projecting particles right through that mask. You might as well put a Kleenex tissue over your mouth, because that's about what it did.
Amen.
I would rather you sneeze into your shoulder and put all that junk into your shirt than blow all that crap all over me. Okay? So the argument I hear most of the time is wear a mask to protect your neighbor. How much protection are you giving your neighbor with this mask?
None.
There's no protection in this mask. You can see it caught some of the dust, but I'd say the majority of it blew out.
I desperately want to go up and double team him on this.
Okay, next up is your standard surgical mask that you get at any hospital, doctor's office. This is what the medical professionals wear, and I can tell you that these are designed to keep a surgeon from breathing bacteria on you. Okay, I got extra help.
This is not a surgical mask.
Okay, not a surgical mask, I'm being told.
So this has more fluid than surgical mask. It doesn't go thin around the nose right, and it's just
Okay, this is, I stand corrected, I apologize. This is an ear loop mask, this is not a surgical mask. This is what they're selling, and they're telling you should wear this. You should wear this to protect your neighbor. Okay, so this time I'm going to do the mouth hose. This is going to be a cough. Okay, you guys ready? Surprisingly enough, most of the dust stayed in the mask. This mask is designed to catch anything coming out, not designed to catch anything coming in. So the way these masks are designed is only to filter when you exhale. So does it help? I would say that this one would actually catch some particles. The problem I have with this mask is when we peel the mask down, you see where all the chalk ends up?
in your eyes.
So you sneeze in this mask, and you just now blew snot and bacteria directly into your eyes. That I don't think that's good. I don't want to do that. I don't want to shoot snot in my eyes. This one has a great deal of chalk in it, so it did catch a lot of the chalk, surprisingly enough.
Okay, while he's doing that, I'm going to comment. The problem is, what it caught was the big particles. And the science of the mask, which we do have some, shows that when they cultured the particles as they went out, the big particles don't have any live virus in it. It's all the particles you don't see escaping around the side of the mask that get you. And the other Russell Blaylock, who's a neurosurgeon, actually has a good video of this mask, that kind of mask, and it shoots the stuff out to the side. So when you go in the grocery store and they harangue you for not wearing a mask, if you put the mask on and you want to contaminate things, just think about it. You walk down the aisle and you're blowing your stuff onto both sides of all the food things. Okay, now what is this one?
This is a single layer cloth mask. This is the mask I like the best because it's easiest to breathe through, and it doesn't really feel like you're wearing anything on your face, and you're about to see why. All right, here it goes. Okay, that's your standard cloth mask there. You can even see on the outside how much chalk just went directly through that thing. So I would say this mask provides you almost no protection. Doesn't help your neighbor out either, so don't believe that you're helping your neighbor with this guy.
And that's what the schools give out. Yeah.
I actually have a school mask somebody just brought up here. We're going to test that one. This is the one that the schools are giving out. We'll do that one next.
Blow your kids out.
Well, and again, if the wind weren't kind of blowing here too, these masks tend to go backwards. This is the mask I saw on the city council members, and I sent them an email of a video by Dr. Blaylock, and I said, those guys in the back row might want to rethink their seating position. The other problem they just came out and looked at was these kind of single layer cloth masks you just showed, as it pushes that stuff forward, it's actually like acting like a sieve, and it's making the big particles into the more deadly small particles. Wow. So go figure that one.
All right, here's your school-provided mask. The best money can buy, I'm sure.
Oh.
Highly effective. Yeah, the mask did pop up. I don't think that was a good test. We'll do that one again.
Well, I honestly think that might have been a good test, because when I was in Nevada and I went to the casino where I was giving my talk upstairs, the guys in the casino were all taking the mask down like that to smoke while they're gambling. I mean, that's the way most people look at all the city councilmen. They're always taking the mask down and doing that. I mean, this is... They came around and told us that even while you were drinking or smoking cigars, you had to have your mask on, and so people take it down. They say you have to do it in between sips. I mean, what kind of science is this?
Fake science.
Right, and they're doing this to children when it actually, you know, this is the big problem with children. It's a very bad socialization thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, kids need to see faces. Actually, we all need to see faces.
I actually had the mask upside down. Don't tell anybody. This thing didn't come with instructions, so I'm lost. Okay, everybody ready? Here we go. School-provided mask. Plenty of dust came out, plenty of dust in the eyes. So that one is going to infect your neighbor and get snot in your eyes. That is not a good mask.
And the Chinese told us that the virus goes through your eyes. So, by the way. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe you didn't. And the other thing is, when you tell people they have to wear masks, of course nobody gets a surgical primer on how to wear masks. And in the hospital, we're taught how to take them on, how to put them off. But what do people do? They go to the restaurant, they take them off, they don't wash their hands, they fold them up, they put on the table, and they put their phone on it. If it really were contaminated, they'd have contaminated everything. Virologists are just laughing. They're just laughing. You just can't make this up. All right, what's this one?
All right, this is a triple layer cloth mask. This is one of the ones that you can actually stick another filter in there. I think by the time you get 3 layers of cloth and a filter in there, that thing's going to be pretty hard to breathe through. You know what I mean? So, but here it goes. Triple layer mask. Now that one actually didn't blow a lot out the front, so it will. This one might actually protect your neighbor, but it's really hard on your eyes. So there again, snot in the eyes. It doesn't sound good.
I don't think it's good tag.
And if it gets out in the air, you know these little virions, the little particles that are the problem, they're floating around, always in the airstream, and we're good today because we're outside. But if you don't want to get a virus, then open up your house, get sunlight in, get air in, don't have it recirculate, because these things are always around. So that doesn't protect your neighbor. Here's another point that they're making. Those triple masks like you just had on, once you get to the more serious masks here, you're really increasing your carbon dioxide that gets built up behind the mask, which is why nurses get headaches with their N95 mask. But worse than that, they've done studies now on surgeons, and they've shown that even young surgeons, but especially us old farts, after 4 hours in the mask, your O2 starts drifting down. And people can actually have cognitive deficits. Now think about anybody that's got stents in their heart, anybody that's got a heart problem, your O2 goes down and your CO2 goes up. And that also triggers the change in your brain cells that give you dementia. So there's a lot of issues about having these masks on that they're not talking about. Here you go, what's this one?
This is the N95 mask. So this is the mask that they say that you probably should use. This is the mask that I'm most familiar with. It's the mask I use when I do standing, anything like that, where there's going to be small particles. I wear a mask like this. I can tell you for a fact that this mask will filter when you inhale. I used to work at a place, Omaha Steel, here in Omaha. There was steel dust everywhere, floated in the air. If you put one of these masks on within an hour, that mask would be plugged. You could hardly breathe through it. You take it off, that mask would be completely black. So I do know that on inhaling, they will collect small particles like dust, sawdust, steel dust, that kind of stuff. Viruses, I don't know. But here it goes, N95 mask. So that one shot a little bit out the eyes. This one doesn't have the metal nose piece where you can bend it around the nose. This is a very cheap N95 mask. It still caught probably, I'd say, 80% of that dust. Out of all the masks that I tested, this mask performed the best. Let me get it off here. There's quite a bit of dust inside that mask. Now it catches dust, it catches chalk. Will this thing catch a virus? I've never seen a doctor wear one of these. I've never gone to a hospital until coronavirus started and seen any medical professional ever wearing a mask like this. So my guess is those probably, if you're looking for a mask to catch particles, they're probably the best one. And that's all I can tell you from this test, is that this mask catches the most chalk. So as far as filtration goes, this one's probably the best. As far as what I do for a living, I can tell you right now that the air filter in your furnace is very similar to the material that this mask is made out of. And if you think that your air filter in your furnace is going to catch viruses and prevent you from getting sick, you're crazy. It's not going to happen. You know, you go to the places where there's infectious disease and they're using purification like UV light and things like that to purify with. And high intensity UV is probably the best way to kill a virus. So if everybody here wants to go buy a tanning booth and set that up in your basement, go sit in a tanning booth every day, that would probably kill most of the viruses and bacteria on you. But I don't know too many people that really have the money to do that and really want to do that. But if that's your thing, you know, maybe that'll do it. I don't know. I'm not going to guarantee you that. So, but I do know that UV light does sterilize. So they do sell some UV light boxes that you can buy, and you can sterilize stuff if you're concerned that you may be in contact with someone or somebody had something that might be contaminated. You can do that. I think an antibacterial wipe is probably as effective as anything, and we have those readily available around our house. So, you know, I guess if I'm worried about it, I can take an antibacterial wipe and I can wipe my doorknobs and crap, and that's about as safe as I think I need to be. So I'll wrap it up with that, and you guys can take from this whatever you want to take from this, but I pretty much did this because my son wanted to do this, and we had some fun making it, putting it together and testing the masks. And when I talked to Allie, I thought it would be maybe good to come out here and show everybody else kind of what our conclusions were. And that's all I got for you guys. So thanks for putting up with me.
Good job. Great job, Scott. Thanks, man.